Hello and welcome. In our pursuit to find some of the best sports cars in GT7, we find ourselves looking at the Mercedes AMG GTR. When looking for a sports car from Mercedes these days, your only real option is the AMG GT. Now that GT platform has a couple of variants and 3 of them are in Gran Turismo 7. So there's the AMG GTS, which is your more Gran Tourer, the AMG GTR, which is what is on screen, and the AMG GTR Black Series. Now the Black Series we'll cover in another video. So the AMG GTR, this car comes standard with 576 brake horsepower and a weight of almost 1,700 kgs. So the only problem there that I have is the weight. With it weighing almost 2,000 kgs, it is a bit on the heavier side, and that actually leads to some problems when it comes to cornering. The car doesn't like to turn. It has consistent understeer. No matter the speed you are traveling at when you are taking a corner, the likelihood of you understeering is incredibly high. Now for me, that is the only real downfall of this entire vehicle. One thing I must mention is how well the standard suspension is actually set up for the circuit. This car, bone stock, has such a firm implanted ride and doesn't really have that much body roll. And as you can see, with over 500 brake horsepower, it can light up those rear tires. This car has ample power, but as I said earlier, the weight really holds it back. Now you are able to get apex to apex if you do understand how the car handles. Now to understand and comprehend what the car is actually going to do, you don't need that much time, because once you get behind the wheel, you need about 2 corners and then you figure out how to drive this vehicle. Because there's some cars in Gran Turismo 7 where you need a whole day, because no matter what you do, the car has a complete mind of its own. But as I said, the car is still stock. So let's see what it's like fully upgraded. There are a ton of upgrades that can be applied to this car's engine to really boost the car's performance. And if you do fully upgrade this car's engine, you will receive 901 brake horsepower. And if you fully strip out all of the weight, you will lose over 300 kgs. So bringing the weight to under 1,300 kgs. So let's see if reducing all of that weight is actually gonna make a big difference. Now after whipping up a quick tune, it was time to see if the AMG GTR was actually worth it and a really good sports car. So going around that first turn, I noticed, okay, there was no real understeer. Now I wasn't coming at an alarming pace to actually see, okay, the car's gonna push out or not. But I did see we had some oversteer, which is always nice. Coming around this turn, we see, okay, there is still a bit of understeer, but it's not as bad, but the problem is not solved. So I guess maybe with some more tweaking, we can work out a plan. But one thing that I saw now, with 900 horsepower going to rear wheels, this car is extremely twitchy. If you do play around with the LSD, you can find a perfect fit for it. But with me, I like my cars a little bit out of control. I just feel like it brings so much more to the entire driving experience. Now for me, for a car to be a great sports car, it needs 3 things. It needs great performance, handling, and it needs soul. So I want to just clarify something with performance and handling. I put them separately because when I talk about performance, I'm talking about acceleration, top speed, just overall output of the car's power. That to me is performance. Handling, completely different. And AMG GTR, so performance wise, the car is very active. Now this car is equipped with a high RPM turbocharger and some anti-lag, so the car does stay at high RPM and the car builds boost, and you can actually feel the surge of power once you start getting into that high RPM range, which for me, I quite enjoy. I prefer naturally aspirated vehicles because of the instant power no matter the rev range, but a turbocharged car is still as good. While we are on the topic of performance, I want to mention something. Now, the economy of this vehicle. this is a massive turbocharged V8, so it's a no-brainer when I say, when I took this car around at 30 minutes around Le Mans, this car absolutely guzzles fuel. Now, just after doing a single lap with the fuel mix on 6 being the leanest it can possibly be, I completed the lap and only had 63% of fuel left, which means after every 2 laps you're gonna need to go in and refuel. So yes, this car is very dusty. So would I recommend it for endurance events? Yes and no, because the car has a lot of power. Yes, you'll go flying past opponents, but every time you get a lead out on them, you're going to have to dive back into the pits. So in my opinion, I think there are better cars to use if you're thinking about doing endurance events or just money grinding. So on to handling now. As I said, there is still a slight bit of understeer even with the car being now tuned and having extra aero bits on it to add extra downforce. As you can see there, I ran wide and still end up going off circuits. So cornering, it can be better, but to each their own with their own tuning abilities. If you drive the vehicle with traction control on, it will kill the vehicle's performance. I mean, it kills every vehicle's performance, but this one especially. Even with driving it on traction control level 1, I felt such a drain in power. The restriction was so grand that it didn't even feel fun driving this vehicle. And talking about fun while driving this vehicle, with 900 horsepower going to the rear wheels, of course it's going to be a buttload of fun. The minute you want to start sliding the vehicle out, you can put your foot down, the power is there. This car has soul. It just keeps going and it keeps giving. It gives 110% every time you get behind the wheel of it. You can feel it's doing the best it can. So I'm quite interested to see how the AMG Black Series actually compares to it, because the AMG Black Series is over double the price of this car. So that means, is it going to be actually double the value? We're just going to have to wait and see. And if you want to see that review, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Now, Soul, yes, it is there, but there are cars that will put a bigger smile on your face. For example, the Porsche 911 GT3 RS. I had an absolute blast testing that vehicle out, and somehow it makes you feel some sort of way that the AMG GTR just cannot. So, is this the best sports car in Gran Turismo 7? No, it is not. There are cars out there that offer a lot more. For example, as I said, the 911 GT3 RS, it just offers the same experience in a better package. So, with all that being said, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.